record to this computer, I guess.
Right.
Well, it tells me I can.
I'll kick us off. So thanks for joining today. My name is Amalia, and I am a massage therapist, and I have been for 12 years. I'm always on the lookout for ways to improve my health, and that kind of started through massage school and learning how the body works and how to better support it. And it just hasn't stopped. I continue to look for ways to better myself in all different aspects. So I've been with doTERRA for a couple of years now, year and a half. But it just made sense to me because it was plant-based medicine. And I initially got into it for the supplements because I was looking for a natural supplement, and then added the oils here and there. And now I'm to the point where I don't go a day without my oils because they're just so beneficial in all different aspects of my life. So that's really my passion now, and that's why I'm here, because I want to share with other people how they can better themselves, better their health, and just in general feel better. So
Thank you. It's actually amazing that I'm here, because when I was first introduced to essential oils, one of my friends asked me to come to a class, and I told her to F off because I had such bad reactions to essential oils. I told her I was not even a little bit interested because I used to get hives and allergies and itchy chest, eyes would swell shut, really, really harsh reactions to lavender. So I really wasn't interested at all in essential oils. But I was interested in a more natural way of treating my family and our health issues. And my kids would get sick, and I would read the labels for children's Tylenol and aspirin and ibuprofen and be like, oh my God, this stuff is disgusting. And I tasted it because I don't want to give my children something that I won't take, and was like, this tastes like poison. Like, I can't give this to my children. So I was interested in theory in the essential oils, if not in actual in not actually having any interest in them. And I still always joke that I don't really like essential oils. I just really like doTERRA. And I think that there's a huge difference in essential oils and the quality. So I have now incorporated, I think I own all but 5 of the oils and have tried pretty much all of their products, including the supplements, which are definitely life-changing. I went from basically it would take me like 3 minutes to stand up out of a chair. I felt like an 86-year-old woman trying to stand up because my joints were so achy. And I was just exhausted all the time, to doing aerial silks twice a week and doing yoga as often as I can and being able to keep up with my kids. And it never takes me 3 minutes to get out of a chair. All that achiness went away. So, and it really evened out my endocrine system. So I know I was having some thyroid issues, some adrenal issues. I would get horrible migraines during my cycle and ovulation, and it really evened out a lot of that stuff. And I had gotten a blood test for thyroid issues, and it came back fine, that my thyroid was fine, but I came back pre-diabetic and with a really high cholesterol. And both of those are endocrine system issues. So I feel like if I took another test, which I don't feel the need to because I feel so good, I feel like if I took another test, the readings would be way different now. So, and in that, I have learned a lot more about self-care and how to do that more effectively and in a way that really nurtures my body and doesn't feel like, I feel like sometimes, if things aren't going right, we feel like punishing our bodies somehow or punishing ourselves somehow. And this is really nurturing, and it's a really fun way of incorporating self-care. So I'm going to turn it over to Amalia again, and you can tell us what self-care is.
thank you. So I just want to start off by inviting you to open yourself up to this information and just know that you're going to get whatever it is that you need. So just open yourself up to receiving and taking this time as self-care, this time to learn more about how to better care for yourself. So I think I've kind of always been good at self-care, but maybe didn't realize I wasn't very mindful about self-care. I didn't realize that what I was doing was self-care. But I really want to stress that self-care is not indulgent in any way. It's necessary. And when we don't do self-care, we're not able to serve the world the way that we want to, or our families, or our friends, or just really be the person that we want to be, because our cup is empty. So Kestrel and I's good friend Kara says that when you think of self-care, think of a saucer, a teacup and a saucer. So you are the teacup, and you fill your cup by doing self-care, by doing loving things for yourself. And you don't serve the world from your cup. You serve the world from the overflow that flows onto your saucer. So if you're serving the world from your cup, from your teacup, then it's going to get depleted and you're going to burn out. But if you're always serving from that saucer, which is the overflow, you are always full. So you always have yourself to give to the world. So it's definitely a service to the world to do self-care. So we're going to talk about what it is, why you need it, all of that good stuff. So I think we can jump into the slideshow, Kestrel. So essential self-care. So when I thought about self-care and what it does for me, I'll just kind of read off what it is for me. And I'm curious to know as well from you, Cynthia, and then whoever else is watching the recording, what it means to you, because I think it's a little different for everybody. But for me, self-care brings me more energy. It makes me feel more alive. It makes me have more love in my heart and to be more loving and patient with people. It brings such deep, meaningful connection with myself and with others. It brings self-worth. I know that I'm investing in myself and that I'm worth it. And then to show other people that self-care is necessary and you should be doing it. And so to just be that example and inspire others. And a lot of my journey is, when I reflect, it's evident that I was letting myself suffer quite a bit before doTERRA came into my life. And I didn't realize it at the time, but through doing self-care and using these oils, I've discovered just how much I let myself suffer before. So I just really want to inspire people to not have to suffer, because life is meant to be enjoyed. So, can we go to the next one? Do you want to go over these, Kestrel? Or do you want me to?
You can go ahead.
Okay. What is self-care? So I just looked up online just to see what was out there. And this is what Wikipedia had to say. Any necessary human regulatory function in which is under individual control, deliberate, and self-initiated. And I just thought that was pretty perfect. So it also makes me think of, I know a lot of people think like, I don't have time for self-care, or it's indulgent. And it makes me think of, when you're on a plane and they give you the safety briefing and and they say, you know, if the oxygen masks come out, make sure that you put yours on first and then help your child or whatever. So just in thinking of that, like, you have to help yourself before you can help other people. So that's really what self-care is to me. And then who needs self-care? Everybody and anybody. It's not exclusive to anybody. And especially people who are caring for other people. So moms and, you know, wives, anybody really who interacts with other people, we all need it. So when do we incorporate self-care? And this is kind of funny, but all day, every day. So every action that we take can be an act of self-care. So simply brushing your teeth can be self-care. And you don't think of it like that often. It's often just one of those things on the list that you have to do every day. But in the midst of those things, if you can stop and be mindful of what it is that you're doing, that's self-care. So a lot of self-care is just mindfulness and being aware of what you're doing. So I like to, like while I'm brushing my teeth or washing my face, use that time to send my body love, to send, you know, my face love, rather than like just scrubbing my face and like getting through it. Being present in the moment and being mindful and just appreciating that I get to wash my face, that I have clean water, that I have these amazing oils to use on my skin. And so I would just invite you to think about your daily routine and the habits that you have and turn them into self-care. So I have a dog and I walk him twice a day. And sometimes it can be like, oh boy, I got to walk the dog again. And the times that I stop beforehand and think, I get to go walk the dog. I get to go walk through this beautiful park in the sunshine and nature and be with this animal that I love. Miracles happen every time, you know, and then you're just more open to seeing the miracles that are all around you, because they always are. But if we are stressed out and burnt out, we don't witness the miracles that are around us. So I also think that it's really powerful to have a self-care ritual. So incorporating it all day, but also one of my favorite things to do is first thing in the morning, before checking in with anybody else, even my spouse, to take 10 minutes for myself, to sit in silence. I like to meditate, whatever it is that you like to do. I meditate and I check in with myself and I set my intentions of how I would like my day to be. And I ask for what it is that I want and I need. And setting your intentions is really powerful. And you can also do that in little segments throughout the day. So I set my intention for the day in the morning, but before I walk into work, I can set my intention there as well. I can set my intention before each client or after each client, how I want them to feel. Just really putting out there what it is that you want as self-care. And I also find that the evening is a very powerful time to do self-care, to reflect on the day. And every time that I do that, I'm really amazed by all of the beautiful things that I have experienced through the day and might not have given proper gratitude for. So those are really great times to do self-care. And then where? So anywhere. Like I said, walking into the office, walking into work, walking into the grocery store, before you leave the house. One of my favorite things to do, though, is just to stop and take 3 deep breaths. And that can be done anywhere. And anytime that you're feeling a heightened sense of stress or anxiousness, just stop and take 3 breaths. It takes no time whatsoever and can be done anywhere. Nobody is going to think anything of it if you stop and take 3 deep breaths. And they might even stop and take 3 deep breaths, which would be awesome. And then why do we need self-care? So that you can better serve the world and take care of yourself, so that you have the capacity to take care of others. It just brings you more joy, like I said, more energy and clarity. It's a little different for everybody, but our good friend Kara said that it literally saved her life. So it's really powerful stuff. And it also supports your body and your body system and helps balance your hormones and nourishes your nervous system as well. You can go ahead to the next one, Kestrel. Was this the next one? Okay. Self-care, going with the flow. This is a good lesson for me. So do you want to walk through this one, Kestrel?
I can. This is the how one, though, so you have lots of notes on this one too.
I can chime in.
So just going with what Amalia has been talking about, self-care, it occurred to me when we taught this class the other day that self-care is actually everything that we do. And it becomes self-care when we become mindful about it. When we are able to really stay present and to do things, so we can eat breakfast and take a shower and wash our face with no mindfulness whatsoever. And it just becomes kind of routine in doing the things. It still is a form of self-care, but it's not the same as having the mindfulness that goes with it, of having the gratitude. And I think that it is the mindfulness that makes it become self-care. To me, I always think of self-care as like, I have to go to the spa for a day. And to me, I'm like, I don't have time to do that. I don't have time for self-care. And when I reframed it as it's really just being mindful about the things that I'm already doing, that I was like, oh my gosh, like, yes, this is self-care, and it is really easy, and it's really accessible no matter who you are. So the different things that and these are things that everyone does. Everyone eats. So the foundation of our being is that we eat. Everyone eats. Some people eat horribly. Some people eat really well. There's all kinds of in between. But as someone who has struggled with an eating disorder for most of my life and have been really frustrated with the fact that with most addictions, you can sort of stop doing those actions. You cannot stop eating ever. So eating well and eating right and eating with mindfulness and a sense of self-care and gratitude is the very foundation of what we do. The second thing is I picked this picture because this is twofold. Exercising and moving our bodies is also something that we cannot avoid doing. Even us, even the most stagnant sedentary people still have to move at some point, but we all know that movement is a way of changing the chemistry in our bodies. So it's a really easy way to sort of feel better, to change our chemistry, and to keep the life flow going, to really keep our molecules moving and growing. And the other reason I chose this picture is because of the friendship. being with people. That's a huge part of self-care as well, is being able to be with yourself is really important, but being able to be with other people. And we are a very social animal. We need other people. We need friendships. We need relationships. This little woman over here this is rest and reducing your stress. So this is a huge part of self-care and of what we need to do, and something that we really take for granted, I think, in our society and in our daily life. We just don't give ourselves the opportunity to just relax, reduce our stress, and it's our parasympathetic nervous system that gets turned on when we're able to rest, and that's when we heal. That's when we heal our emotions. That's when we heal our bodies. That's when we heal our physical beings, our emotional beings, our spiritual beings. So the other day when we were teaching, I realized that self-care is really all we have. And we spend so much time taking care of our stuff and of our homes and different things like that. And all we really have on this planet is ourselves. And ourselves are our bodies, our minds, and our spirit. And so self-care, again, it made it so much more accessible to me, because I was like, oh my gosh, like that is all that I'm doing all day, every day is self-care, and I'm not even aware of it. So again, it's that mindfulness that gives us that definition of taking care of ourselves, of self-care. The other thing that we do is reduce our toxic load. And I picked this picture because reducing our toxic load has a lot to do with the chemicals that are in our environment. So has a lot to do with what we're putting onto our face, what we're putting into our bodies, and what we're cleaning our homes with. You know, all of those things become part of our environment. But reducing our toxic load also has to do with our minds and our emotions. So in even relationships in our lives, there's relationships that we all know are really toxic, that when we remove them, we feel so much better. A good friend of mine is currently uncoupling from her spouse, and she said that up until they decided to uncouple, that she was having insane back pain, just horrible back pain. And as soon as they decided to not be married anymore, it went away completely. So taking care of toxic relationships, and all of the things in this picture are a really good way of sort of reducing toxins of our emotions, of a spiritual nature, and it's becoming more present within ourselves. There's also not a lot of toxin, like environmental toxins in this picture, which I appreciate, besides maybe the candles. And then we talk about a lot in doTERRA, informed self-care, informed medical, proactive medical. And that is another form of self-care. A lot of people think that caring for themselves means going to the doctor. If something goes wrong, they immediately go to the doctor and just accept whatever the doctor gives them for whatever symptom they went in for. And there's so much more. Again, it's really empowering for your physical body, because you're not going to be putting a lot of toxins into your body. It's really empowering for your mental and emotional state too, to know that, oh my gosh, I don't need to just run to the doctor for whatever comes up, but I have a whole tool set available to me so that I can be in charge of my own health and well-being. So go ahead, Amalia. I know you have a huge list of other things that are involved in self-care.
I know, I'm looking at this list. I'm like, I don't know if everybody's going to get this whole list this evening. One of my favorite things to do with self-care is to tap into your five senses. So really just experiencing life. And it keeps going back to that mindfulness piece. Being mindful of the flower that you smell, or the walk in the woods, the smells and the different colors of the trees, or just all of that is self-care for sure. So just being mindful and tapping into those senses is a really fun way to do some self-care. But I think the top thing to think about when deciding that you are going to incorporate more self-care is deciding that you are a priority, and really committing to yourself. And then that mindfulness. And then I think just tapping into your body and really asking yourself what it is that you need, what it is that you want, and listening. So just getting quiet with yourself can be really powerful, and asking what it is that your body needs. And I remember being in a meditation class one time, and we were told to close our eyes and ask our bodies what it is that our body wants. And I was like, oh, for sure, my body's going to say that she wants to do yoga and she needs to stretch and she needs this and whatever. So I closed my eyes and I tapped in, and right away she said, I need love. And that was it. And I just got goosebumps, because how often are we sending ourselves love? You know, it's so easy to love other people and see the brilliance in other people. And for some reason, whether it's societal or history or whatnot, it's a lot of times a lot harder to love yourself. So from that point on, I dedicated to sending myself love on a consistent basis. And my body has thanked me immensely for that. So I invite you to get quiet and listen and see what it is that your body wants, because it will tell you. Another fun way to do that is with muscle testing. And if you're not familiar with that, you can get with me and I can walk you through that. But I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to read a bunch of stuff off of my list, and then you can take what it is that you feel like you're drawn to and maybe incorporate that. So I would say your intention with self-care, your dedication to practice self-care, deep breathing, prayer, meditation, or devotion, whatever that looks like for you. Movement, walking, yoga, stretching, dancing, sending yourself love, supporting your emotions. And then, of course, one of my absolute favorites is essential oils. I feel like the thing that I use them for the most is emotional support. And I'm not even somebody who's highly emotional or has a lot of stress in my life or has had a traumatic past. And they can be very helpful in those instances. But for me, it's just daily things, you know. Every day there's something that comes up for all of us, for sure. Whether it's something that makes you sad, makes you angry, whatever it is, there's a way to support your body through that. And my favorite thing about the way the oils do that is that they don't block that emotion. So I think that it's very important that we feel whatever emotion that comes to us. We invite that in and recognize it, and then decide whether we would like to move through it or not. And for me, these oils allow me to feel my emotions, but not be overwhelmed by them in any way. So I had a kind of traumatic experience this fall, sad, whatever it was. And I know a lot of people have been through that similar situation and have had a really hard time coming out of it. And I was lucky enough to have these oils, and I used Console oil, which is a really beautiful blend, all day, every day for 2 weeks. And it really allowed me to be able to be clear-headed about what the situation was and to really appreciate the situation, which a lot of people in that situation might not be able to move past the sadness and appreciate what was happening. But I was able to be so clear-headed because I was doing what I needed to do self-care wise to move through that. So there's also this, well, there's a couple really amazing books. This is one of my favorites, Louise Hay's You Can Heal Your Life. And a lot of the physical things that come up for us are tied to emotions. And then there's the Emotions and Essential Oils book, which is my go-to. Every day I pick an oil and look up the emotion and work with that. But you can look up grief or whatnot, and it tells you what oils can help you through that. So that's a really powerful way to do self-care and to support yourself through the emotions of the day. And I've just seen it work on so many people. I was with my nephews this weekend, and they were having to do chores for grandma and grandpa and getting kind of snappy at each other. And I was like, I'm about to oil everybody up real quick. So I got out my emotion oils and I said, pick whichever one you think you need right now. And so they each picked one, and then I rubbed some on everybody else. And not 5 minutes later, they were perfectly fine, cleaning with each other and not fighting, not arguing. So not only is that supportive for them, especially children who, can easily be overwhelmed by emotions, and especially if they're sensitive and picking up other people's emotions that those people haven't processed, they don't necessarily know how to get it out or how to express themselves. So that can bring a lot of peace to families. It brought a lot of peace to the rest of our day. And then peace to the parents who are around them, that they know that they can help their children through those emotions as well. I think, for me, some of my favorites are journaling, bubble baths, snuggles with my husband or my dog, eating a healthy meal, reading, and oddly enough, cleaning or organizing. I feel like when I'm in a clean, organized environment, even if it takes some time out of my day to do that, I'm much better for that. So that's a form of self-care. And then playing and having fun, just lightening up and just really enjoying life. That's my mission, is to just have a life that's just full of joy and playfulness and to enjoy it. I think that we're all meant to enjoy life. We're not meant to suffer through it. So self-care helps with that for sure. I think I'm done there.
Help if I unmuted myself and didn't just talk to myself. So now we're going to sort of talk about what essential oils are and how they can be such a huge boost to your self-care and to your care in general. So human beings have been taking care of themselves from the beginning of time. And the Egyptians were actually really, really wonderful at self-care, and especially in incorporating essential oils and plant matter. So they've actually found hieroglyphics that talk about using different essential oils for their shampoo and for their toothpaste and for their makeup. And the Egyptians believed so much in self-care of the body and preservation of the body that's why they invented the embalming process for mummification, is that they wanted those bodies to be really intact, and they used essential oils in the mummification process as well. They talk a lot about frankincense and myrrh in that process, as well as just knowing an incredible amount about anatomy, because they were working with organs and really getting into the just getting into the anatomy of what makes us human, and they could see the spiritual link to that, and that they wanted those bodies to be preserved, to sort of hold their essence into the other world. Hippocrates used plant matter, and we've been using plant matter for eons. I always think about, the Neanderthals and the cavemen needing food, needing the plant matter for medicine, and what that kind of trial and error must have been of like, here, try that. Oh, whoops, that didn't work. Okay. Like make sure we let the next person know that doesn't work at all. But that they became really aware of how plants could really enhance their health as well. And then this is the story of the Christ child. And I've always been really struck by, they brought him gold, which I get, frankincense and myrrh. And before I tried essential oils, I didn't understand why they would bring frankincense and myrrh. And after I tried frankincense, I was like, oh, I get it, because it is so powerful and so healing that those wise men actually really knew what they were doing when they brought him frankincense and myrrh. Oops. Okay. So Amalia is going to tell us a little bit more about what essential oils are.
Oh, good. I'm not muted. They are basically plant medicine. So it's what the plant uses to call in what it needs or ward off what could be harmful to the plant. So it's basically the plant's immune system. They come from the seeds, the bark, the stem, the roots, the flowers, just depending on the plant. And not all plants have essential oils. And they're concentrated. So they're 50 to 70 times more powerful than herbs. Next.
Okay. So this is where I've been geeking out on the science of this lately. And one drop of essential oil has 400 million trillion molecules in it. So it's a lot. That's enough to coat every cell in our bodies 10,000 times. So when you inhale a drop of essential oil, your body is flooded with the different molecules. Our bodies are made of molecules. Our cells are made of molecules. And what happens in our life is that we're either growing or we are decaying. So our cells are either growing new cells or they're being pulled apart and they're decaying and dying. A lot of times when we have a lot of toxicity in our body, those cells are being pulled apart faster, and that's where we start to become ill, and to either have a lot of mental illness or physical illness. When we use essential oils, they're so readily available to us because they are organic. There's nothing in them that our bodies can't accept. So if you go to the doctor and they give you a medication, it's based on plant life, but they've synthesized it, and our bodies actually don't know what to do with the synthetics. So we take whatever medication we've gotten for whatever symptom we're having, and we'll have some relief from it, but then our bodies will become more toxic because our body can't handle that synthetic toxin that we've just put into our body. So there's sort of a buildup, and that's why when you look at something over the counter, there's a list of side effects that start at, could make you feel a little off or dizzy or whatever, could cause bleeding stomach, could cause death. And it's because the more toxins we get into our body, the less we're able to handle it, and the more stress we're putting our bodies under. So going back to the essential oils, they're really readily available to us. They're very bioavailable. We put them into our bodies and our cells are able to accept them. So if our cells are lacking different molecules, which is what happens when they have a lot of toxins flying at them, they start to lack those different molecules. When an essential oil molecule comes to them, they're able to take that molecule into the cell tissue and repair their cell tissue. So our cells are actually able to work more effectively because of using essential oils. And I've actually had people, we're so used to in our society needing more of something. So if we go and get a medication and it works, pretty soon we know we're just going to need more and more and more of that, because our bodies will sort of adjust, and we won't, there's never a point, I think, for most people I've talked to, that they just stop needing a certain kind of medication. They either have to wean themselves off of it and go through with sort of a withdrawal period, but there's never really a point at which they're like, oh, and the medicine helped and I stopped taking it. It's more like, well, the medication helped and now I take all these other things as well. With essential oils, I've actually had several people who, my mother-in-law is one of the ones, she's a degenerative nerve disorder. And so her nerves are dying, and she is not in pain all the time, but when she is, she says it feels like someone's driving a nail into her hand. And she's an artist. She needs her hands. She needs her nerves to be working. And the doctors told her there's really nothing you can do. The myelin sheath is dying. It's, it's being torn off. When it dies, it won't hurt anymore, but there's nothing you can do to sort of stop that. And there's nothing you can do to mitigate the pain. So she accepted that, but she tried past tense, one of the oil blends, and immediately had relief from the pain that she was told she'd never have relief from. She immediately had relief from the pain. And she, when she first discovered it, was going through a 10 milliliter roller bottle every week. So she finally got all the ingredients that she needed, because she was like, okay, maybe it's cheaper for me to just make a huge batch of it and always have it on hand. So she did that. And in about 3 months, she was like, Kestrel, I'm not using as much. How is that even possible? And it really hit me at how effective they are at filling in those molecules. That her body is getting the nutrition and support that she needs from the molecules. She's not needing them as much. And so now I think she uses past tense a couple times a week, where she was using it all the time. So she goes, a little 10 milliliter bottle of it will now last her a whole month. Or more. So, and I've heard that with other people talking about the oils that they've used too. That's just a really specific example I have of that. So the oils are really, really effective at helping us to meet our physical needs. And they're really, really effective at helping us meet our emotional needs as well. Our sense of smell is our direct connection to our limbic system, which is where our emotions live. So if we look at something, we still have to go through the whole process of our mind figuring out what it is that we're looking at, and then we might have an emotion that comes with that, with the story that we tell ourselves about that. Our sense of smell is the only one that goes directly to emotion. So I'm sure you've all experienced smelling something and being taken back to a memory, or having a really strong emotion come up because of our sense of smell. So the essential oils they all have an emotional component to them, and can affect our emotions immediately. You can also really use the oils to sort of reroute your neural pathways. So if you do have stress and trauma in your life, and you're trying to rewire those neural pathways, you're very aware of what those thought patterns are. You can do it by using an essential oil, again, with a lot of mindfulness and sort of knowing, okay, this is rewiring my thought patterns. But the essential oils will work whether you're aware of them or not, and they will sort of affect you emotionally whether you're aware of it or not. See.
Can I ask a quick question here?
Yeah, of course.
You want me to wait?
No, please.
You were talking about your mother-in-law, and I have a friend who was just diagnosed with ALS. And Lou Gehrig's disease. And he's been getting weaker and weaker, and I've been doing some research on the internet, but have you ever had any experience with people who have had that condition using essential oils?
So I don't have any direct experience with it, and I would say frankincense would be a really good one. But I just went to a talk this weekend, and my friend Keith had just worked with someone who had Lou Gehrig's, and he started him on Mito 2 Max, which is, it helps your mitochondria and cell production. And he said that he worked with someone who had Lou Gehrig's, who was given just a few weeks to live, and he lived for another 6 to 8 months because of taking the Mito 2 Max. So that is one that I know will definitely help with Lou Gehrig's. And again, the DDR Prime is another oil blend. It has frankincense and wild orange, and off the top of my head, I can't remember everything else that it has, but it's amazing. And I think would also really help because it helps with the cellular structure. So it helps old cells die off faster, but it also helps the new cells grow in more healthy. My dad had a big skin cancer on his face. It's like a giant, like fingers, pinky size thing on his face. And he used the DDR Prime for 6 weeks and it went away. So no surgery, nothing like that. And that is all essential oils. So those would be the two that I would definitely recommend for Lou Gehrig's and ALS.
So would something like that be taken orally and massaged on the body?
So I would probably rub frankincense on the body topically, and I would use the other two internally.
Okay. Maybe if you think of it, could you just text me those things?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. I can send you an email that has a little more information about them too. So I'll text you. I'll send you the links to them, and then you can see what they have in them and a little more info about them.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, no problem. So we came to the balance slide, and balance is an amazing essential oil that contains spruce, hillwood, frankincense, blue tansy, and blue chamomile. It helps to support your vascular system. This is a really good one for supporting your parasympathetic nervous system too, so you get your body to relax. If you rub it up and down your spine, your nervous system is connected into your spine, so you can really have a big relief for your nervous system if you use the oils directly on your spine, because they'll go right into those nerves and sort of calm your nervous system down. Balance can also support your actual balance. So I have a friend she was doing some dietary changes and some lifestyle changes, and she just got really off balance. She said she was tripping over things and falling over and dropping things. And once she started rubbing balance on the bottom of her feet, she actually regained her balance. It helps to support balanced emotions. I have a friend who calls it the keep your shit together oil because she uses it when she's just kind of losing her shit, when she's sort of out of control and not feeling, and she says she uses it on her kids too. So the same way Amalia did with her nephews, she used it on her kids and immediately sort of had this relief for them. So this is a really good one just for using for your self-care. And we're going to do a quick exercise on breathing that sort of will get us a little more mindful, a little more grounded without using an oil. If you have balance, please use it. If you don't have it, we're just going to do a quick breathing exercise. So get into a place where you're comfy, where you're feeling centered, and close your eyes. And we're just going to breathe. This is something we do all day, every day. And I'm going to show you how you can take something you do all day, every day, and turn it into a moment of self-care that you can do at any time you need it. So you're just going to breathe into your body, and just don't try to change it. Don't try to judge it. Just notice how you're breathing. And just take some attention, try to find out how it feels when you're breathing. Are you breathing all the way down to the very bottom of your lungs? Are you filling up your lungs completely and your body completely with breath? Or are you using like 30% of your lung capacity? Do you have a lot more lung capacity that you could be using? Again, no judgment. Don't try to change it. Just notice what's going on. Notice if there's any tightnesses in your lungs and see if those correspond to any tightnesses in your body. And as you exhale, just feel your body really relaxing. Feel any tension or stress that you're holding on to, let it flow out of your body through the breath. Let the tension flow out of your muscles, out of your joints, out of your bones. And then we're going to really think about filling up our lungs completely. So really going down, thinking about our lungs like a balloon, and you fill the balloon sort of from the very bottom to the very top of it, and the sides fill out completely. And it just fills up completely. And as you exhale, you're exhaling completely as well. So you're pressing all of the breath out of your body, even to the very, very bottom of that balloon. And again, notice any tightnesses that you have in your body and in your lungs. Most of the time, any tightness we have in our lungs will usually correspond to a tightness in our body. So see if by bringing some more breath into the lungs, you can actually release the tightness and constriction in the rest of your body. And again, as you exhale, just exhale all of the breath out of your body. Think about exhaling any negative emotions, any negative energy that you still have left in your body. Just let it go. Just release it out. And as you're inhaling deeply and exhaling deeply, just notice where there's any kind of constriction. And a lot of times breathing will bring up emotions for us as well. So again, you don't have to judge them or figure out what they are. Just notice them. If you have emotions coming up with the breath, just be with it. And as you're breathing, as you're really bringing in breath to your body, as you're changing the chemistry of your body by bringing in more breath and life into your body, and as you're exhaling any of the old stuck emotions, anything negative, anything harmful from your body, ask your body if it needs anything else from the breath. See if you need to really think about breathing deeper into your low back, breathing more deeply into your shoulders. See if you need to sit up straighter so that the breath can travel more deeply into your body. Just ask your body what it needs as you're breathing. And slowly start to wiggle your fingertips, wiggle your toes. Drop your head forward and rock your head from side to side. Roll your shoulders back. Really relax and open up your chest and your back and your spine. Think about rolling your head back up on your neck. So you're sitting up nice and tall, and open your eyes. So that's a little self-care exercise that is available to you anytime you want. Because we're always breathing. The breath is always available to us. Let's see. Amalia's going to talk to us a little bit about how you use essential oils.
I feel so good. Every time I do that, I'm like, and now I'm floating. Okay. Sorry, I got to recollect myself now. All All right. So aromatically, internally, and topically. So aromatically can be, I just did it. I put a drop in my hands and took some breaths in. You can put them in a diffuser. I have a diffuser necklace I like to wear. But it's the easiest way to enhance your mood if you use them aromatically. So if it's a mood thing, I highly recommend aromatically. And then internally, which I only would recommend for doTERRA based on the fact that the essential oil industry is unregulated and people can put whatever they want and call it essential oil. It can say 100% essential oil on the label and in fact have no plant material in it, can be synthetic. So a lot of times the oils that you see, well, I don't think I've ever seen an oil on the shelf that said that you could take it internally. But they say don't use internally, only aromatically, and that's because there's something else in there that isn't safe. But I also want to stress the fact that whatever you're breathing in aromatically is entering your body through your lungs. So it's also really important to reduce that toxic load and be smart about what it is that you're inhaling. So internally, doTERRA's oils, the ones that they suggest that you take internally, have a supplement label on them. This is Balance, and it does not have a supplement oil or supplement label. So it's not recommended that you take that one internally. But if you think about like lemon or grapefruit or orange, things like that, those are things that you take internally anyway. So those generally are safe. But then like the woody ones like cedar wood and things like that, you don't eat wood. So don't take those internally. It's just not the most beneficial way to use it. But internally can be very beneficial, especially for digestive upset or support. So I like to put, if I have a really bad stomach ache or I've really eaten something I shouldn't have, I'll take a drop of Digestin in oil and in water and just mix it up and then drink it real quick. But I also use lemon and grapefruit in my water daily just to help support my elimination organs. And those oils just kind of help scrub out the junk, and it's like a daily detox. And topically, so the oils are absorbed into our skin within 30 seconds, into our bloodstream when you put them on the skin. So that's a really powerful way to use them as well. So like Kestrel said earlier, along your spine is the best way to affect your nervous system, because that's where your nerves are branching out from. Our feet also have the largest pores on the body, so it absorbs much faster. And there's a lot of reflexology points that correlate to different parts of the body or different organs or whatnot on your feet or your hands. So it's really fun to stimulate those areas while using an oil that supports that specific body system. So it's just an extra little dose of self-care there if you can take the time to pinpoint which area of the body you really want to affect. And then topically, so when you're working with emotions or mood things, on your spine is great, but also on your earlobes, you also have pressure points or reflexology points on your earlobes. So I like to take an oil and just kind of massage my ear, which massaging your ear, ironically, is super soothing. Or on your pulse points, that's another really awesome way to affect your emotions and your mood. And then if you've got like a cut or a scrape, of course you can put the oil right on there. There's a couple oils like the more herbal oils like oregano and things like that you just want to be careful of because they're a little bit hotter, so you want to dilute those.
Do you dilute it with anything? If you, let's say I've been putting frankincense on the bottom of my feet at night before I go to bed. And I've been adding just a tiny bit of oil with it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay?
Yeah. The most important thing to note when you're diluting your oils is that they help absorb whatever it is that you're putting them with. So you just want to be sure that the oil or the lotion that you're putting them with is a high quality. It doesn't have any kind of synthetics or harmful ingredients, because that just makes it absorb into your skin faster. So you can use whatever oil you have laying around, coconut oil, olive oil, almond oil, jojoba, whatever you have is fine. I prefer the doTERRA's fractionated coconut oil because it's a little less greasy and it absorbs really well. And there's a whole nother science behind all that, as far as like which carrier oils can enhance the oils for specific organs or body parts that you're working on or whatnot. But if you're just wanting to dilute it just so it's a little less hot or spread it better, whatever you have is fine.
Okay. Thanks.
I'm going to stop this slideshow and we're going to go to another one. So we're going to get a little more specific about what oils you can use and what products you can use for your self-care. Nope, that's not the one. Thanks for standing by for all of the technical issues.
One note on the internal usage and putting them in your water throughout the day is to make sure that it's in a glass or stainless steel container, because the oils can eat away at or degrade plastics, and you don't want to be taking that in internally. And besides, those plastics can break down anyway, so it's just a lot safer for your body to drink out of glass or stainless steel.
Okay, so here are some basics for how to balance your body and your endocrine system. Clary Calm is to help balance your hormones, your progesterone and estrogen levels, as well as your testosterone levels. Phytoestrogen is really good for helping your body get rid of xenoestrogens, which are sort of Franken hormones. They are hormones that are available in things like soy and plastic, and basically we are exposed to an awful lot of xenoestrogens, and because people have so many xenoestrogens in their body stops producing estrogen because it looks and it says, oh, you have plenty. When your body stops producing estrogen, it also doesn't produce the correct amount of progesterone either. So having those two things out of balance can wreak havoc on the rest of our hormonal system. The Zendocrine Organ Cleanse is one of my favorite cleanses. It really helps to support your internal organs, just to balance your whole body and to balance your whole endocrine system. And it comes, I really like these are actually all herbs and not oils, and it's one of my favorite products that doTERRA has because it's so effective. And for me, it really cleansed a lot of the heavy metal toxicity that I had. I came back from China with a lot of heavy metal toxicity, and the Zendocrine complex was able to clean out my body in about a week so that I didn't have all of the soreness and inflammation that I had before that. The Zendocrine oil you can take internally. You can also rub it over your organs. I had a friend I had just introduced to doTERRA, and she had a hangover that day, and I had sent her Zendocrine. And I said, okay, rub that on your liver. And in about 3 minutes, she was like, oh my God, like my hangover's gone. What? She was so impressed. And then the DDR Prime we talked about a little bit before, but it really helps to support healthy cell response, repair, and regeneration. So that's the one that my dad used. And I know several humans who have had amazing benefits from it, but I also know several dogs who had death sentences. They were given 6 weeks to live and lived. One of them is still alive. She had grapefruit cell mast cell tumors on her body and is still alive because of the DDR Prime. And another one, she was a really old dog, but they had given her a month to live, and she lived an additional 12 months. So DDR Prime is amazing. the Lifelong Vitality Pack, I talked about this in the beginning, but this was definitely life-changing for me. And my husband, of course, was really, really suspicious of these. And he's like, but supplements are stupid. Don't you know they don't work? And I would say, again, for the most part, he's right. We're talking to someone who cleans porta potties for a living. And he was talking, he would never take supplements because at the bottom of the porta potties, he finds vitamins, like full vitamins. And I was like, wow, that's disgusting. Which is why they don't work, because our bodies can't break them down in any way, shape, or form. So they just pass through our bodies. You're basically literally flushing your money down the toilet. The doTERRA ones are really bioavailable. So they have a nutrient complex, an omega complex, and a cellular complex. So my husband, who was so suspicious of supplements and was like, those are stupid and they won't work. And now if we're starting to round, is like, where's my supplements? I need these. He has a really high pressure job and these have really saved him. He is able to get up at 4 a.m. He goes to CrossFit. He works a full day at work. He's there until 7 o'clock most nights, comes home and is still patient with me and the kids. And these have been life-changing for him and also for me. So I can't. And I know, Amalia, you came to doTERRA because of the supplements, because your mom had taken them. So,
and that's part of my daily self-care is taking those supplements. Every time I take them, it's like a bit of gratitude that I get to take them and that they make me feel so good. So proper nutrition is for sure self-care.
Yeah. Doing a cleanse can be a really good form of self-care too. And I'm actually really just knowing right now that my body's needing a cleanse and I'm needing that extra little bit of self-care, because when you really go in and cleanse out your organs and really work on a cellular level like that, you can really affect so much change in your physical body and your spiritual body and your emotional body. And Cynthia, I know you were at the cleanse, the cleanse webinar that we did too. And so you learned that there's more to it than just the one that I'm showing you. But that's what I'm being really called to right now is really doing a deep detox, because I think too, when you have that state of mind of I'm doing a detox for my physical body, you cleanse your emotions and your spiritual being as well. And so, like I said, I'm really feeling that that's where my self-care is sort of taking me these days. And just eliminating toxins in our body. Oh, go ahead, Cynthia.
You're not taking the whole spectrum, right?
The whole spectrum of
the detox ones you just showed on the screen.
So this one is more, let me go back. This one is more specific for more of a candida cleanse.
Which one?
So this one that I'm showing right now, the 30-day renewal, the GX Assist. So that's the one that I know that you had been taking too.
I was on that, yeah.
So this really helps to clean out the candida in your system, but along with taking a really good enzyme and taking the Zendichrum, which is going to help your organs to flush out any other toxins that you have, and then filling in with the PB Assist is a pretty complete detox for your stomach and for your, so this one is one that it's more of a general cleanse than the ones that Cynthia was talking about last time, where she was getting really specific for detoxing each organ system. So I think if you if you find that you're really having issues with a specific organ system, that's a really good way of putting it. And sometimes we just need sort of more of a general cleanse.
Okay.
For me, I'm feeling like my liver could definitely use some support, and that like a general cleanse would be good for me right now. Eliminating toxins is a big part of self-care too, and everything we put onto our face and into our hair and when we brush our teeth, that all absorbs into our bodies as well. So and for me, when I started this journey with working with oils and figuring out toxins and all of that, I was looking for a cheaper shampoo that was more natural, and I tried some from the health food store and was like, yeah, these don't work at all. There's no way I'm switching my like I use Pantene, and I was like, well, I know it's completely toxic, and if it gets on my kid's skin, I'm afraid it's going to burn it. Like, that's horrible, right? That's what we're using for ourselves, for my hair. But like, I didn't know what else to do when I made my hair clean. And when I tried something else from the health food store, I couldn't even brush, like I couldn't run a brush through my hair. It was so tangled and it wasn't that clean. And I was like, I don't get it. So when I tried doTERRA's shampoo and conditioner, I was like, oh my God, yes, this is what like natural shampoo should be. And it's even, what I really like about it, one of my favorite things, it's glittery. It has wild orange oil in it. And it's like, when you put it into your palm, it's glittery. It has orange glitter in it. And the 4-year-old, like, you know, inner child loves that. I also really love the skincare. I feel like my skin, like just being on this video, I'm looking at my forehead and I'm like, wow, like it's so like, I used to look at pictures and be like my forehead had just gotten all crinkled up. And now since using the doTERRA skin line, it's a lot of that has gone away. And I still have a lot of sun damage from living in Hawaii all those years. So like my nose still peels randomly. I know I have from my dad's genetics, a, you know, predisposition to having some of that stuff happen. And so I had the same little pinprick that he did on his nose. And I was like, so I've been using the frankincense and DDR Prime as well as the skincare. I had another little skin patch that was pretty dried out and kind of worrisome, and started using the skincare and was like, okay, all of that stuff has really resolved itself. And now I don't worry. Like if I do have a worrisome little patch, I'm like, okay, I just need, you know, to double up on my skincare routine, use a little more frankincense, use some arbor vitae, and like, I'll be fine. So it's really reassuring. I've also made sure to use the On Guard products for my cleaning. And this morning, Wesley and I were cleaning his car seat, which hasn't been cleaned in a long time. So it was disgusting. Like it was really, really gross. And normally I would have to use some toxic whatever stain remover to get that stuff out. And I wouldn't be able to ask Wesley to help me. I'd just be like, stay away. Mommy's got this thing to clean. But because I was using doTERRA products, I used some lemon oil and I used a little bit of the foaming hand wash and I used the cleaner concentrate on it. We both got out little toothbrushes and he and I were both scrubbing his car seat together. And I love that, like, if my kids get into my cleaning supplies, I'm not freaked out. Like, it's kind of annoying if they get into it because they might spill it and it's not, you know, but I don't worry that they're going to poison themselves and I'm going to have to rush to the urgent care or the emergency room. I know that if they get into the cleaning stuff, it's going to be more annoying than anything else, but not harmful at all. Supporting a healthy digestion is really important for self-care too. There's nothing worse than being gassy and feeling bloated or feeling whatever we feel when we don't have a healthy digestion. And if, Cynthia, I know you're still waiting for your digest Zen and it should be there soon, but it's such a good blend for helping to support a healthy digestion. The Terrazyme, is absolutely amazing and helps to break down our food so that we're able to absorb it more. And then the PB Assist is also a really good probiotic. Getting adequate and restful sleep. There's many, many oils that we can introduce and use to do that. Lavender is a great way to calm our body, to calm our nervous system, to get that parasympathetic nervous system working. I personally still don't really love lavender, so I go for Serenity. Serenity has lavender in it, but it also has some other yummy, yummy oils and scents in it. And so that's the one I use. The boys call it their sleeping oil. And if they go to sleep and they're wiggly, which is often, they just say, we're wiggly, put on our sleeping oils. And I'll put it up and down their spine. I put some into their belly button. I put it on the back of their neck. And usually within about 3 minutes, they're both sound asleep. Balance and Serenity together is known as liquid Valium. So pretty amazing combination. There's also, if the Serenity oil doesn't work on its own, they have a new internal complex. It's a soft gel you can take that has lavender in it and L-theanine, as well as 5 other essential oils in it. And it's amazing. It's a really good way to calm your brain so that you can get some rest. This is the one I was telling you about too, Cynthia, for ALS. This has a lot of adaptogens in it and is really good for mitochondria health. Promotes better microcirculation. A lot of times they tell you to use it for energy and stamina, but the guy who was talking to me about how he used it for ALS was also telling me that when he doesn't feel well, he'll take 5 or 6 Mito2 Max, and in a day or two, he'll feel like amazing. Because he just is he's really able to take care of the mitochondria in his body. So he was saying that this one is now up with DDR Prime in terms of a really powerful supplement that you can take to support your cellular health. Deep Blue is amazing for sore muscles, for aches and pains. So I did I did a booth yesterday at this little fair, and one of the guys who walked up, he came and his back was just killing him. And his wife was like, I don't know, I think I might have to take him to get x-rays. Like, I don't know. He jacked up his back really bad. And I was like, do you mind if I give your husband a rub down? And she was like, no, please. Like, please make him stop whining. And so I grabbed the Deep Blue rub. I put a little dab in my hand and I rubbed his back for him. And, I got deep into the tissue, and 5 minutes, I think I spent working on him. And, stopped, and I was like, so how is it feeling? He's like, it feels a little better, but he's like, I put a lot of other stuff on there, so maybe it was one of those things. And I'm like, okay. I kept talking to his wife, and pretty soon he was like, oh my God, honey, this is the first time in days I felt better. We need to get some of this. So, and I can't say enough about the Deep Blue. It's why I can give my husband a massage too. He's ridiculously hard to massage. His muscles don't move for anything. And I put a little Deep Blue on him, and instead of me having to work for an hour with no results, I can work on him for like 15 minutes and he feels amazing. Frankincense is another really amazing self-care oil. It's really good for cellular health. It can help with deeper relaxation and connection and meditation. It's great for skin imperfections. It's calming, soothing for your skin, for your body, for your well-being, for your mind. It helps to heal soft tissue. It supports your immune function. Frankincense also has this really great quality in that it enhances whatever other oil you put with it. So if you're using Breathe oil and you're not getting the respiratory support you need, add a little frankincense to it, and it will help that Breathe oil to penetrate deeper and be more effective. If you're using Balance for relaxation and you're not quite getting there, frankincense will take it to another level. Frankincense and Wild Orange I found is amazing for ADHD and autistic kids, and helping them to just have a little more control. And frankincense is able to bypass the blood-brain barrier. And there's very, very few things that can do that. They've worked in modern medicine, and they find that even when they find a medication that can bypass it, that they usually damage the blood-brain barrier. Frankincense, because the molecules are so small, are able to bypass that blood-brain barrier and help inflammation inside the brain. And help, because another quality of frankincense is that it helps heal. It can heal damaged cells inside the brain as well. What were we saying the other day, Amalia? WTF? Where's the Frank? So it's another one that we look for often. Clove is really helpful. This one is actually more helpful for your endocrine system, which is a whole nother class. Can be good for your self-care because it has a lot of antioxidants. So when we're exposed to a lot of free radicals, they pull our cells apart because they're looking for electrons. They're taking our atoms apart. Antioxidants have extra electrons to spare and will freely give them up. So they're really helpful for us when we have a lot of free radical damage going on. Balance, we already talked about. Serenity, we already talked about. Lemongrass is really helpful for adrenal support. So this can also be really helpful in our self-care. A lot of times when we're just feeling really run down, it's because our adrenals we've they're either producing too much cortisol or they're not able to handle the cortisol that's there. They're just under a lot of stress. If we can really support our adrenals, it will also help to support the rest of our endocrine system. Myrrh is another one. Myrrh is emotionally the oil of mothering. I might be sort of taking the oil of Mother Earth. But I had a friend the other day smell myrrh, and I know her really well, and I asked her what she thought of it, and she described her relationship with her mom as she described the oil. It was really interesting, and because I know her, I knew that's what she was describing, but it also made me think that if I know the oil's emotional components when I hand them to people and they give me a description, I will now know everything I need to know about the relationships with people. Basil is another really good one. This one helps with overwhelm. So in terms of our self-care, if you're feeling really overwhelmed, you can put a little basil, rub it on your hands, rub it on the back of your neck, and it can help us to feel less overwhelmed. It's also amazing for adrenal support. So one of my favorite combinations is basil and lemongrass together. And so if I'm just having a day where I'm feeling really run down and kind of overwhelmed, basil and lemongrass on my adrenals will help me out. And it goes everywhere with me. Cheer is another really good one. All of the emotions oils are really, really helpful. And I'm still blown away at how much emotional clearing you can get from using these oils. Motivate is another one. Okay, I'm gonna stop the share. I agree, Amalia. Also, my computer's about to die, so I need to go plug it in. So we're gonna go ahead and close class now. Cynthia, do you have any other questions about anything I just mentioned? I know I ran through that super fast.
Yeah, I wrote some of it down, Kestrel. I will absorb it.
I'm happy to share it with you too. If you want the PowerPoint, if it's more helpful to have, the pictures and the words. And again, we just ran through that really, really fast.
That's okay.
And there's so many more oils too that I could incorporate into that. Every oil, I've actually done this where I've had classes where we just talk about one oil. Because there's so much to say about each one of them.
For one oil. But I'm just on a learning curve here with some of the essential oils.
Yeah.
Because my daughter used them during her treatments when she had cancer. But she's pretty knowledgeable. She did use some of the doTERRA, but she was also using some of the Young Living because her cousin who lives in Wisconsin was sending her some, gifting her some.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. That's another great company. And as we're wrapping up, that's actually a huge part of why both Amalia and I choose doTERRA is because of the ethics of the company. That there are other essential oil companies that are great and they have great quality products. But to me, it was doTERRA's, it's their mission to the world, which is when they do sourcing, they do co-impact sourcing. They go into where the plants are grown indigenously and they work with the people in those communities. And they build hospitals, they build wells for them, they build schools for them. They don't just come in and barter for their oils and broker for their oils. They really take care of the communities and they make sure that they're able to distill them so they get the highest yield that they can so that doTERRA can pay them the most for their efforts. I can never talk about this without being really emotional about it because it's such a big deal to me that they're not just taking advantage of people and they're not just going in to make a profit. It's really important to them. They said that they could do third-party brokering, which a lot of the other oil companies do, and they choose not to because they want to take care of people. And when you watch the videos of them in these communities, the people are so touched by them and so they change lives for these people. and that to me is really important, that when I'm using something on my body and with my children, I feel like everything has an energy. And if the energy is that I've just helped somebody on the other side of the planet by using frankincense or one of these other oils, like that means the world to me. And again, is part of my self-care, because a big part of who I am in my self-care is in taking care of other people and wanting to nurture them and wanting to improve the planet. So again, to me, I do know that there are other quality essential oils, and I know there's some really crappy ones, but I choose doTERRA because of the mission of the company, because of who the company is and how they source the oils.
Yeah, I didn't know that about them. So thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful.
Yeah. And again, it's something, it's exactly why I work with doTERRA. It's exactly who I was looking to partner with and work with, because of the mission that they have. I wanted to work with somebody who was socially responsible globally, and that was really environmentally conscious, and doTERRA fits everything that I was searching for. So for people who don't know, I'm just going to talk about a couple of the ways that you can bring doTERRA into your house. You can just buy retail from anyone who sells doTERRA. You can ask them for oils, and there's a retail price. They also have a wholesale membership. It's like a Costco or a Sam's Club, where you can pay $35 for the year and you get 25% off on all your products. And that's what I usually recommend to people. If you're going to buy more than 1 or 2 oils, definitely get the membership, because it pays for itself really, really quickly. And they also have a loyalty rewards program. So if you're using the products and the oils consistently, they reward you for that by giving you points back for your orders. Amalia and I both get 30% back on every order we put in. So if we spend $100, we get 30 points back for our next order. Plus it pays for our shipping. So it's pretty amazing that way. And because it's set up the way it is, you can actually, like, I have a friend who's never paid for oils because she's been sharing them from day one. And so she's always had her orders paid for from the commissions that she makes from the company. And not even Costco will do that for you, right? So you can get deals at Costco. You can share it with people and be like, Costco is a great place to shop, but they'll never give you a check for that. So I also really like that doTERRA will do that. So for you, Cynthia, and anyone else who's listening, if you're interested in enrolling, they also have kits where they waive that enrollment fee. So again, that's not something that you can find at a Costco. If you buy a giant order from Costco your first time, they still make you pay that fee. They still are like, we need that membership fee. So the kits from doTERRA, they waive that membership fee. And so it's 150 is the beginning kit. It goes all the way up to 2,500. Sorry, my nose is running from crying.
Okay.
They waive that enrollment fee, and then on their $2,500 kit, you do pay $2,500. You get everything that doTERRA has to offer, and the next month they give you 400 points. So basically, that kit is like, you spend $2,500 on oils, but then you get 400 points for more oils and more products. It's a really amazing company, and they give really amazing incentives. So if anyone who is watching this recorded is interested in getting their membership and getting their oils, and even getting their oils for free, reach out to Amalia and I, and we are happy to help you figure out how to do that. So Amalia, I'm going to let you say some things as I go find a plug for my computer. So you can wrap it up. I guess I'll give you more direction. Wrap it
up. Thanks, Kestrel. I along with Kestrel chose doTERRA based on the company, the ethics of the company and the heart of it. And I think that relates to self-care as well. I've been really focused on being intentional with the products that I buy and where they're sourced and how they're made. And doTERRA makes it really easy to dive into their products and where they're sourced and how they're made, and supporting the environment and supporting people is huge self-care to me. Like if I'm helping somebody else, I'm happy. That makes me happy. So, I hope that everybody gets something out of this, whatever it is that you needed to hear today. And I just would invite you to look at what lights you up, ask your body what it needs, and do that. Whatever, everybody has their own idea of self-care, and what I do might not be appealing to other people. So it's really about individualizing it for yourself and just making that commitment to yourself that you're worth it and that it's necessary. So, there's one more thing. I wanted to throw this out there that we'll leave it for, I guess, maybe a week and a half so people have time to watch the recording, but I wanted to do a little self-care challenge. So I'm inviting you to, for the next week, take on one new self-care thing a day. So maybe it doesn't even have to be new, just do one self-care thing a day intentionally and observe how you feel and what happens throughout the day after doing that, and then report back. So you can email Kestrel or I, or I think we can leave the event open, or you can message Kestrel on Mindful Essentials on Facebook page. So after doing that for a week, let us know what happened with your self-care and the rest of your life based on that extra little love you gave yourself. And bonus points if you use oils, for sure. And for anybody who wants to do this, I don't know what I'm going to send you, but I'm going to send you something for participating and spreading the love. So yeah, that's all I have. I want to just thank you. And I just appreciate you, Cynthia, for being here, and anybody else who watches it. And yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.